Hey, it's Rhianna. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my top 5 cold weather keto recipes. This video was kind of a suggested video. It was like half suggestion, half something that I came up with, and I figured since I'm technically out of town on vacation, this would be a great video to do for y'all while I'm gone. So I went through my Tasty Tuesday playlist and I wrote down my top 5 like soup or like cold weather things that I like to have whenever we get a cold front here in Houston, which is about 5 times a year. And so I have 5, which is perfect. All of these except for one are crock pot recipes. They can easily be adapted to like Instapot, or if you just want to do them like on a Dutch oven on your stove. But I personally like to do them in the crock pot because that's the easiest way to do it. I will be leaving links up in the eye as well as down below for all of these since they've already done them as Tasty Tuesdays. So it'll be really easy for you to find and try out the recipes. And I want to know if you do them. Like, leave a comment, let me know if you try it, what do you think, any variations of it, or if you have a recipe that you want for me to try, definitely let me know. I always need Tasty Tuesday ideas. So we're gonna start with the one that is not for the crock pot. That is the shrimp Creole. Pre-keto, Jonathan actually had a recipe that was his mom's for shrimp Creole that he really loved, and we would always do it in the colder, the colder days because it is very warm and it's perfect for like a cold night. And so I took that recipe and I adapted it a little bit. It's still kind of higher carbed because of the tomatoes. I feel like for an occasional thing, it's not the end of the world. I do a really simple version where I just use canned tomatoes, I do frozen shrimp, and I just throw everything together in my Dutch oven. And I can usually whip that up within about 30 minutes. So it's definitely a go-to. I really enjoy making it. I love the taste of it. You can adjust it as far as like heat levels and all that kind of stuff. And then of course serve it with cauliflower rice. And it's just, if you love shrimp, you'll like this. It's really, really good. So that was number 5. So the next 4 are crock pot recipes, and I'm gonna do them in order of the most easy to the most difficult, which in reality is in a crock pot you're still not gonna really have difficult, but just like as far as like for the sake of the video. Number 4 is gonna be taco soup. That is super easy. All you have to do is brown the meat and then you just throw everything in the crock pot. A little bit of taco seasoning, or you can make your own if you're like super hardcore strict keto. A little bit of canned tomatoes and some chicken broth, and then at the end you add a little bit of like cream cheese or something like that to make it a little bit creamy. Top it with some cheese, avocado. It's a really great soup. I feel like number 3 and number 2, the most complicated part of it is just chopping and prepping the vegetables. But for number 3 is cabbage roll soup. And you basically are taking a cabbage roll and just kind of like unstuffing it. You've got cabbage, cauliflower rice, sausage of some sort, however you want to do that. I do pre-cook mine. Anytime I'm putting meat in the crock pot, I know technically you can put it in there raw. I personally prefer to cook it just because, number 1, I like the browning, brings out a little bit more flavor. But then also number 2, I usually, since I'm home during the day, I don't cook mine for as long. I usually don't start my crock pot things until about 2 or 3. And I want to make sure that the meat has been cooked all the way through. Jonathan and I really like cabbage, and I kind of came up with the idea of the cabbage roll soup on a whim one day, and it came out really, really good. Number 2 is our Zuppa Toscana, and just recently, actually last week, I made the version with radishes. It was very good, but we do prefer the version with cauliflower just because for us personally, we like cauliflower. We're not tired of it yet. If you are tired of it, you can try it with the radishes. I'll leave a link for both versions down below. Super easy. I take ground Italian sausage, I chop up some onions and some garlic, throw that in the skillet with the Italian sausage, some chicken broth, and then I usually take kale and the cauliflower and put it in the crock pot with everything. And at the very last like 30 minutes, I add a little bit of heavy whipping cream. And then we top ours with some bacon crumbles and some Parmesan cheese, and it is so good. Definitely, definitely a favorite. Like, we probably eat that every couple of weeks, even when it's not cold. And the last one, the hardest one, is chili. It's Texas keto chili. The only reason why I feel like this one's a little bit harder is There's a lot of measuring out of like spices and things like that. This is another one that's a little bit higher carb because of the tomato products. But overall, like I said, I don't really care as long as it's coming from like a good source and it's not like I'm eating ice cream or something like that. So hamburger meat, brown it up, onions, garlic, tomato paste. I like to use fire roasted tomatoes to give it some extra flavor, cumin, chili powder, salt. And then I'll usually make either my own version of like a cornbread. Sometimes I'll buy the Goodies brand of the cornbread. So something like that is so good. That's like the perfect cold weather thing. Like if you know there's a cold front coming, get you a chili and a cornbread and just enjoy it. I like to top mine with sour cream and shredded cheese. Jonathan puts just shredded cheese on his. Pre-keto, he ate his with Fritos, which I'm not a fan of Fritos, but I know some people do like the crunch or whatever, but I'm just not really a fan. So those are my top 5 keto cold weather recipes. Let me know down below if you have a favorite that maybe I didn't mention here. I would love to hear about it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.